This was the Charlotte Motor Speedway in Cabarrus County, North Carolina, just a few short hours ago. A quiet, muddy piece of real estate baking out under a hot southern sun after 2 days of torrential rain, the souvenir of a passing hurricane. Well, what a difference a couple of hours can make, because this is the Charlotte Motor Speedway right now. Thousands of cars in the infield, some 55,000 people on the premises, all waiting to see the start of this year's National 400, a stock car race with $11,000 in prize money to the winner, more than $50,000 altogether. However, and the green flag is out. Looks like we'll get a start this time. 44 cars in the starting field, and here they come. That's it. Across the line and underway, and A.J. Foyt has already begun to move from 18th starting position. My goodness, he's passed 4 or 5 cars already as they go into the first turn. Look at him go, up on top there. That's A.J. Foyt, this year's Indianapolis winner, competing in the comparatively unaccustomed sport to him of stock car racing. Right now, he is battling number 36, Larry Thomas, for 6th place. He has then passed 10 cars already. And the race has only been underway about 10 or 15 seconds. Here's the leader, however. Paul Goldsmith has taken the early lead from Richard Petty, who was on the pole. Goldsmith in car number 25. Richard Petty, who has already been crowned this year's stock car racing champion, in 2nd place. Goldsmith, as we pointed out a little bit earlier, started his career racing motorcycles. That was a good many years ago. He's been racing stock cars for several years now and is one of the very best. There's A.J. Foyt, still trying to close in on Larry Thomas of Thomasville, North Carolina. Foyt is driving a Dodge today. Thomas is in a Plymouth. And there is Richard Petty taking Goldsmith. He's got the lead. Again, we're back at the National 400 in Charlotte, North Carolina. And you're looking right now at Richard Petty on the right of your screen, trying to lap A.J. Foyt. Foyt is in 3rd position right now. Petty is 2nd behind Paul Goldsmith. However, it's been a good long while since Petty took that first pit stop of his. He could be due for one pretty soon. At the moment, however, he's putting a lap on A.J. Foyt in car number 47. Only 2 cars then on the same lap at this point in the National 400. There's a quick look at some of the 55,000 people jammed into this racetrack. They really love this sport down south here. Incidentally, it's quite expensive to campaign one of these cars. It costs about $100,000 to campaign one for a year. They use somewhere between 40 and 45 engines on each car. Believe that or not, it's true. Richard Petty, having lapped A.J. Foyt, now is going to make his 2nd pit stop of the day, so that'll drop him back into the pack. Let's see what the story is now as he pulls into the pits. Let's go down to Chris Economaki.
Lee Petty, here he is, and it's going under the hood. They're going under the hood of the car now. It's going to be oil added under pressure. That was a pressure relubricating for the Plymouth Richard Petty, who is favored to win this race, and smoke is coming out the bottom of the engine. Smoke coming out the bottom of the engine. This may mean trouble. We don't know as yet. We blow by. And the pits now, certainly a very busy place. Inside tires being changed this time. And they're sending him out with a rag in his mouth.
And now into the pits. Here is one of the fellows with one of the more colorful names on the tour. That's Crawfish Kreider of Moncks Corner, South Carolina. And out on the track, this is Fred Lorenzen, who had dropped back to 10th at the beginning, remember, was in 8th place the last time we looked at it, is now in 6th position, moving up. He'll be in this before it's over, the way it looks. Right now, Richard Petty is lapping his teammate, Jim Pascal of High Point, North Carolina, in car number 41. So Petty letting it out now, moving up near the 150-mile-an-hour mark as he tries to regain the time that he lost on the pit stop. In 1st place is still Paul Goldsmith in car number 25. Look at Pascal and then a look up ahead to his teammate, Richard Petty. You've just joined us. We mentioned earlier that Richard Petty has already been crowned this year's National Stock Car Driving Champion. This is the last big race of 1964. Last big stock car race. Next week, of course, we'll be traveling to Mexico City for the final Grand Prix race of the season with the World Championship on the line. A.J. Foyt is coming into the pits. This is an unscheduled pit stop. Voigt having trouble. Voigt is out of the race. When he makes that left turn into the garage, that's all. There was no sign of obvious trouble, but he's out of it. And the leader in the race is Richard Petty, number 43, 27-year-old North Carolinian who has already clinched this year's National Stock Car Driving Championship. Interestingly enough, it's a father and son situation for Richard because his dad, Lee Petty, won the first of his 3 National Stock Car Driving Championships just 10 years ago. However, the father won his first one when he was 40 years old. Richard has won his at the age of 27. In second place is car number 25, Paul Goldsmith. But right now, Fred Lorenzen in that white car number 28 is trying to get on the same lap with Goldsmith. Now, Fred Lorenzen is in 5th place at this moment. He started the race in 3rd position, 3rd from the pole. However, he dropped back as far as 10th and has been moving up ever since. Right now, he is trying to get on the same lap with Goldsmith, who's in 2nd place. In 3rd place is car number 41, driven by Jim Pascal. In 4th place is Ned Jarrett, number 11. Fords and Plymouths battling it out here this afternoon, and Dodges. That's basically been the story. Petty, the leader, driving a Plymouth. Lorenzen moving up fastly, driving a Ford. And there he goes after Goldsmith. He's got him. Fred Lorenzen now on the same lap with the leaders. We have 5 cars on the same lap in the middle of the Charlotte 400. And coming in now into the pits is Paul Goldsmith. He was in not too long ago, so this one is not a regularly scheduled pit stop. It's going to cost him in the standings and could cost him the race. Goldsmith has been in the battle ever since the beginning. At the beginning of this long afternoon, it was a fight between him and Richard Petty and A.J. Foyt. Foyt dropped out after about 135 laps. Now Goldsmith's having trouble. Let's see what it is, if we can. Paul Goldsmith, many times national motorcycle champion. One of the top money winners on the stock car trail, but he's never won the national championship. Well, there goes the right side, the usual change of tires on that side. There seems to be a problem here in the right rear. Now notice the right front they're proceeding with, normally with the pneumatic wrenches, taking it off and putting another one on, but on the right rear there seems to be a problem with getting that wheel off. Goldsmith might have hit something, bent his fender, but he obviously has some problem. And now here's real trouble on the racetrack. It looks like car number 46, J.T. Putney, has blown his engine. Now it looks now more like tires. If you'll notice, it's just while he's on the banking that smoke is coming from the rear of Putney's car. And what that is, quite literally, is smoke coming from these furiously hot tires and these temperatures of 80 degrees in the air, 120 degrees on the racetrack. And Putney is going to, it looks like, call it a day. Don't blame him. Petty, of course, still the leader in this championship. Goldsmith in the pits. Lorenzen still moving up in the pack. Pascal is 2nd at the moment, and Jarrett is 3rd. There you had a quick view again of the 55,000 people who are gathered here this afternoon. That's Freddie Lorenzen in the white Ford, number 28. Now trying to get on the same lap with Richard Petty, the leader. Watch Lorenzen go. He hung back for a long while in this race. Obviously was playing a waiting game and now is really letting it go. Past Richard Petty. And Petty comes into the pits. Now this could mean that they will be almost even when Petty comes out of this pit stop, because a normal pit stop here takes about 30 to 35 seconds. A normal lap speed, and by normal we mean about 145 miles an hour on this particular track, takes just about a second or two more than that. So it could be by the time that Petty comes out of the pit, Lorenzen here will be almost even with it. It's going to be a real automobile race. Good pit stop, just 30 seconds on the nose for Richard Petty. And as he comes back on the track, he is narrowly in front of Lorenzen. However, look at this. This is Wendell Scott, one of the drivers on the trail who does all his own work, and this is real heartbreak here, because this fellow is not going to return this car to a factory team or anything of that nature. He does all his own work with his 2 sons. He blew a tire out there just a moment ago, hit the restraining barrier, and that's going to take him probably a couple of weeks of his own manual labor to get that car back into shape. Wendell Scott, number 34, out of the race. Lorenzen still very much in it. That white car streaking on the banking now. He is now moving up on car number 11. That is Ned Jarrett, a veteran, one of the traditional leaders on this circuit, another Plymouth driver. And Ned Jarrett is in third place at the moment. Lorenzen trying to move into third. Now remember that Ned Jarrett here, who is being passed by Lorenzen, Jarrett is probably going about 142 miles an hour. Lorenzen is leaving him behind like he was standing still. Lorenzen is now in third place in this race. Car number 43, the darker of those two, is Richard Petty, the leader. And Fred Lorenzen is that close to him now. Just a matter of feet between these two cars, battling for first and second. And this is a battle in many ways. It's Plymouth against Ford. The darker car, the leader, is the Plymouth, the Ford in second place. It's the North against the South. Lorenzen in the white car is from the North, and Petty is from the South. It's last year's biggest money winner, Fred Lorenzen. He won more than $113,000 against this year's champion and leading money winner, Dick Petty. There's the crowd, 55,000 people looking on here in Charlotte. And now, across the track, a car is smoking. It's Paul Goldsmith, who was very much in this race until a little while ago, riding high on the banking. And now, look out, he's losing control. A spin. He hit the inner pit wall, but it looks like he's going to be all right. A lucky guy that there were no other cars coming just behind him. Paul Goldsmith apparently skidding on his own oil. He was dropping oil from the bottom of his car. The yellow caution flag is out. Just a few laps to go now here at Charlotte, North Carolina in the National 400 stock car race. And Richard Petty of Randleman, North Carolina is lengthening his lead over Fred Lorenzen of Elmhurst, Illinois. Petty in the dark Plymouth. It's blue in color, actually. Fred Lorenzen in the white Ford, lapping a slower car as they come off the banking here. Both caught in traffic, and Lorenzen could catch up a little bit, but he doesn't seem to be. Right now, he just has less than 3 laps to go to win this National 400. Winging away, it appears, from Fred Lorenzen in car number 28. Lorenzen, however, still within striking distance, and he's beginning to move on the banking now. Barreling into the backstretch, there is Petty still in the lead, but Lorenzen is really moving. Look at the scenery and the crowd flying by as these cars go at 150 miles an hour. On the banking now. And Lorenzen has really moved up. Apparently, he was not falling back because of the failure of his car or his driving skill. That was purely a strategy move, and now he is making the big move. Less than 2 laps to go. Lorenzen right on the tail of Richard Petty. Taking a look on the high side. Can't make it there. Still drafting. In the slipstream of Richard Petty. And again, the heads of the crowd flying by. This is the next to last lap. Lorenzen's got to make his move pretty soon. He moves live. Look out! Petty's car smashing into the rail. Lucky he didn't go right out of the racetrack. He's out of the race. That's obvious. Lorenzen's going to win it. Breezing around now. Lucky that Lorenzen's car didn't get hit. Petty is in the car. Can't see whether he's moving or not. The caution flag out, but also there's only 1 lap for Lorenzen. Petty moving. You saw his arm move and his head. Mechanics talking to him. It looks like Richard may be okay. The right front of the car just demolished, hitting that wall at about 150 miles an hour. Lorenzen on his way to victory here at Charlotte. A shocking, stunning moment there as Richard Petty blew his right front tire. All these cars toward the end of the race couldn't afford another pit stop, and there was Lorenzen going across the checkered flag and the yellow caution flag, both being waved at the same time, indicating victory for Lorenzen, and to the other cars still in the track, look out because of damage and debris. Lorenzen on his victory lap, headed towards Victory Lane. What an afternoon this has been in Charlotte. Lorenzen's time, a new track record for this race, 134.404 miles per hour. Fred headed towards Victory Lane, but now beginning to back up. What it looks like he's doing is backing up to Petty's car, something we haven't seen A fine sportsmanlike gesture. Lorenzen backing up to see if Petty is okay. Apparently he's satisfied that Dick is all right because he's out of the car now, uninjured. And Fred Lorenzen heads for victory lane.
Well, Richard's tire was smoking an awful lot the last 10 laps, and I think he either blistered it or he ran over something, but I was just coming underneath him, or I think he would have got me. I was going to go around the outside, and I had about a fender underneath this quarter panel, and he either ran over something or he had a blistered tire and I let loose. I just don't know.
Did you come close to hitting him?
His car bounced in the air when it came down. I sort of went underneath it.